Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining today's webinar. My name is Andrew Albers. I'm going to be your host today. And today we're talking about Laserfiche and business process automation, some unique use cases for Laserfiche forms and workflow to show you some of the more advanced functions of Laserfiche that you can leverage and that you probably have not thought of. So let's get started. All right, just a couple items here before we get going. Everybody, again, is on mute. So put all of your questions into the question box, please. I'll make sure to check that towards the end of the presentation and answer any questions you all may have. If I can't get to your question or if I miss it, it does get emailed over to me. Then I can definitely follow up with you all on a one-on-one basis. So don't worry about that. Also, you do not need to take any notes. This session is being recorded as usual, and it's going to be posted into our YouTube channel library following the session today. So you can review it further or share it with other internal staff members that may be interested. Also, we can provide you with any slides and screenshots if needed. All right, on the agenda today, like I mentioned, we're talking about Laserfiche automation. I want to showcase some unique automated tasks leveraging Laserfiche's forms and workflow capabilities. So obviously, as most of you all know, Laserfiche is a very robust, very efficient document and records management platform, but it can do so much more. You can automate processes, and today we're showing some that you may not have thought of before. We just want to give you some good ideas, kind of show you the tools that are available in Laserfiche that you can leverage for streamlining some of your processes or automating processes that you may not have originally thought of automating. That's kind of the goal here today. The first demo is going to focus on employee onboarding and offboarding. So this is going to be relevant to HR, pretty interesting use case. With that one, we're also leveraging our DocuSign integration. When we're onboarding an employee, we generally need to provide them with onboarding documentation like the NDA, perhaps W-4, I-9. So those documents generally need a signature. Those can be sent via Laserfiche workflow, and with our DocuSign integration, they can also be sent to DocuSign for those signatures that need to be applied to those forms as they are completed. Following that, we're going to look at creating an internal distribution newsletter and bulletin for consumption for our internal staff. So this is a pretty niche and unique case of using Laserfiche forms and workflow to digest any pertinent information to your organization and share it with your other staff, perhaps on a weekly basis. So we have internally here a CDI newsletter and distribution list that gets sent out to our internal staff every Monday. I'm going to show you what that looks like, maybe get you some ideas for what you could leverage internally as well. Then we're going to show an automated NDA process. We found that for a lot of customers, we have to provide them with an NDA as we start working on their projects. So, that process before it was a manual process. So we looked at Laserfiche and automated it, also including our DocuSign integration for those signatures, as that NDA does need to be signed and filed back into Laserfiche. So that's the agenda today. We're going to show you these items here. We're going to take questions or pause for questions, and then we're going to review some CDI resources for you as well. Just wanted to point out what's going to be required in terms of Laserfiche licensing. If you do want to leverage some of these processes that we're going to be showing today, one important item is obviously Laserfiche workflow. If you are new to Laserfiche, that is the automation tool that allows you to automate processes, route internal requests or external requests internally or externally, and notify our staff members as new processes are ready for review or approval. That Laserfiche workflow engine, it's available as an add-on if you are on any of the legacy platforms like Team or United. It is included with Laserfiche Avante and Rio System, which are the more recent platforms. Also on the latest subscription or cloud platforms, it is included on the professional and business tiers. It is not included on the cloud or subscription starter tier. Laserfiche Forms Professional is also required. Again, that's included as an add-on on the legacy platforms, Avante and Rio systems. You do need to add that to your licensing. For subscription or cloud customers, it is included on the professional and business tiers. Again, not included on that starter tier. And then our Laserfiche and DocuSign integration. This is something specific to CDI. This is an integration we've built ourselves, and we provide that to clients as they find that they want to enhance that Laserfiche capability with electronic signatures. Laserfiche Corporate offers a DocuSign integration as well, but it's not as robust or functional as the CDI developed integration. Our integration also includes Laserfiche workflow activities, where not only can we ad hoc send requests out of Laserfiche for signatures, we can incorporate that signing process into a Laserfiche workflow where that signing request is automated. So let's say, for example, we're doing a contracts request process through Laserfiche. Once all of the internal review steps have been completed, we obviously need to get that contract signed both externally and internally. Well, we can, through our workflow and DocuSign integration, we can have that request get automatically generated out of Laserfiche, sent to DocuSign. When it gets to DocuSign, that integration actually populates the signing template, assigns the correct metadata where our staff and our vendor we're working with need to sign. So that gets pre-filled for them automatically. They just simply click and sign. Once they click and sign, it gets all filed back into Laserfiche. So our Laserfiche integration is awesome. We're happy to show that to you in more detail if you are interested in that as well on a one-on-one basis. That integration it's available as an add-on to all the Laserfiche self-hosted platforms that have workflow capability. But now it's also available on Laserfiche Cloud, which is awesome. We've had a lot of cloud clients ask us for that integration because, as you all may know, the Laserfiche Cloud and DocuSign integration is, to be honest, not that great. So you can leverage our own DocuSign and Laserfiche integration. So that's the licensing required. Today, we're pretty light on the PowerPoint. I'm sure everybody is happy about that. So let's get right into the demonstration here. We're going to start off by showing you a couple of those HR processes. So for that, here I have an internal landing page. This is kind of our CDI demo page. This is running on Laserfiche forms. And this is something a client can leverage also in their organization if, for example, you want to have a variety of internal processes. So I have a main selection feature here where I select the specific department that I want to open up forms in within. So I have the human resources forms under this section here. If, for example, we were showing somebody to a government client, we click on government and our additional information within this form changes specific to those government clients. But again, today we're showing human resources. We did just want to give you an idea of a dashboard that you can leverage for your Laserfiche forms processes internally. You can also have public-facing forms as well. If you are a government entity, for example, a public-facing form could be for public records requests, permits, business licenses, and other things as well. So Laserfiche can do form submissions from the public side as well, and obviously internally as well. But again, today we're showing human resources here. So I do have a couple things I did want to show here. I want to start off with our internal human resources dashboard here. So this is essentially a dashboard of all of our internal or fictional internal employees that we've onboarded to CDI for this demo purpose. So essentially, this dashboard here is going to show all of the employees that we have in our organization. Again, these are fictional employees. And there are a couple items here that we're showing that actually the information is stored in Laserfiche. We're just displaying this in a form. So as we onboard a new employee, we can track, for example, their paid time off. So in this demo, again, when an employee starts at CDI, they get 200 hours immediately as PTO. It's obviously not the case, but for the demo here, it works. So as I onboard a new employee here, they're going to appear on this dashboard. They're going to have the PTO time assigned to them. Then if we submit a vacation request, we're going to be able to deduct from this PTO time here and see that being reflected on this dashboard. Also, we have their annual review information here as well for these employees. So we know exactly when their last review was and when their next review is coming up. So this Little dashboard is very useful. This is, just an idea of what you may potentially leverage internally. Why buy a whole new HR system if you have Laserfiche? Some of these tasks can be done easily in Laserfiche. We also have another tab here for any of our open jobs that we are currently recruiting for. And this is going to be the next step in our demo here. We're going to show you how somebody could potentially apply for a job in your organization. So we have 2 active recruitments. One is a business process consultant, and the other is in our scanning operations department. So we have those 2 openings currently. So let's go back into our form here and let's do a job application. So this is me, somebody interested in working at CDI. I can go ahead and fill out a job application. So this is, again, a Laserfiche form. I can go ahead and select which position I'm applying for. In this case, we're going to apply for the BPC position, business process consultant. Fill out our information here. Actually, let's onboard somebody brand new. Let's go ahead and onboard David Smith. I don't know, sounds like a good name. Let's go ahead and fill out our email address here. So then we can go ahead and go through this onboarding or job application. There are other fields that need to be completed for this specific forms. We have drop down, so you can select your educational level. You want to put in your university, you can go ahead and do that here. Your salary requirements, we're going to ask for 100,000 here. Are we a U.S. citizen or authorized to work in the U.S.? Yes. You can go ahead and fill this box blank, but obviously there can be additional fields here for these types of questions pertinent to the job as well. We don't want to get too convoluted here in the demo. And then you can attach information such as your resume, cover letter. Let's just go ahead and attach a fictional resume here. Simple drag and drop to be able to upload, and this then travels with this form, which is nice. So we're going to hit submit, and our internal staff will get notified. So our submitter, job applicant, actually gets this nice little confirmation based on their submission. They can go ahead and download this, print this, or go ahead and email it to themselves or wherever else they want to send this to. So it's a nice little confirmation page here for them. Let's go ahead and go into our job application reviews form. So this is assuming we now have some applicants and we want to go ahead and review those applicants, right? So this is me as an internal HR team member. I can go ahead and select the department where I'm looking for that position that we're actively hiring for. I can select that position from the list here. And I can start reviewing all of my applicants. So David Smith is our newest applicant here. We can go ahead and select David here. You can view the actual application. Since Laserfiche forms and Laserfiche are obviously integrated, all of the information submitted into that form is immediately being imported into our Laserfiche system. So it's creating a new folder for this job applicant in our Laserfiche system. So we can view the application here directly from this page, like this a little bit bigger here. So this is basically that form that was submitted. You can review that form here. The resume, you can go ahead and view that here as well, the cover letter as well. If you wanted to look at other applicants as well, you can go ahead and view these applicants here as well and make your decision as far as who you want to move forward in within that hiring process. If I didn't want to view that other applicant in more detail, I can go ahead and select that here, and you have their pertinent information here as well. If I switch to all applicants, I know I have 2 applicants, but I like David more, so we're going to go ahead and move David through the hiring process. So there's a couple different things we can toggle. Currently in pending, we can go ahead and also toggle it into reviewed. That just updates their status in Laserfiche and the metadata. So if somebody is in Laserfiche, they can see that their application has been reviewed, or they maybe have been even interviewed already as well. So we can toggle that. That way we know that this new potential hire has been interviewed. And if everything looks good, we can go ahead and create the job offer. So this is pretty neat. This is what happens next in the onboarding process. Laserfiche Forms is going to, through workflow, it's going to send our applicant the onboarding documentation that they need to complete. So in our case here for the demo, it's going to be the NDA, the W-4, and the I-9. We're going to send it through DocuSign, in fact, so they can even complete it and sign it and do all of that electronically. So having said that, let's go ahead and toggle it to create job offer. Let's go ahead and hit submit. And here I got to pause a little bit and wait for our email notification to happen, but I can show you some things behind the scenes in Laserfiche here. So let's go back to our, not our landing page, let's go back into our Laserfiche web client. So this is the Laserfiche web client here, and this is the repository where all of these new requests are being stored. So it's creating folders for our new hires. So if I go into job requisitions here in process, consulting, business process consultant, that's the role we're hiring for, you'll notice that it created that folder for David Smith for us automatically. We didn't have to go to Laserfiche, create this folder on our own. Everything is being named correctly in Laserfiche for us. All of our template fields are being correctly assigned. So again, we don't have to do any manual indexing, which is nice, and it's following our naming conventions accurately. So in this folder, we can go ahead and view that offer letter here. So with Laserfiche, we can in fact integrate it with Microsoft Word and pre-populate a Word document and send it off through the workflow for review and signatures. So this is the offer letter here. We also have the resume here as well, viewable in that folder. And again, that original job application here is available here as well. Let's go ahead and go back into our job application reviews form. We're going to select our correct position, our applicant. We're going to say we're going to hire this person. Hit submit. And now it's going to send them the onboarding information. So it's going to send that NDA, W-4, I-9 through DocuSign. It's going to send an email notification to them. Let's go ahead and wait for that email here. There it is. So this is sent via DocuSign. This is that CDI DocuSign integration taking over. It's sending the onboarding forms to our submitter, but also internally, it's creating tasks, right? Internally, we have tasks that we need to complete. For example, there are IT tasks specific to setting up this user in our organization, providing them with the necessary licensing for systems, access to various things, setting up maybe workstations and other things. And there's also other tasks that need to happen with the onboarding process as well. But let's go ahead and complete this onboarding packet. So this is me. I'm assuming here that I am the job submitter and I get sent this packet to be completed. This is through our DocuSign integration. And this could be a big bundle of forms, essentially. You can include whatever you need to have them complete as part of that onboarding process. And DocuSign makes it really easy to sign. You'll notice it pre-populated that information into this request, right? Into this NDA, their name, the date here. And then they can just simply click sign, adopt and sign. This is the W-4, so they can go ahead and fill this out here. I'm not going to fill out the other fields, but it's all unlocked. These fields can all be filled out. Obviously, you'd want that if you were doing this officially. They can sign here as well. So there's our two forms. So let's go ahead and click finish. So the beauty here with this integration is once our applicant has signed, it gets processed by Laserfiche workflow back into Laserfiche from DocuSign. So we don't have to wait for something to get emailed back to us or if that person wants to come in, bring it in physically, we don't have to do that. Once they click sign, we can go ahead and get that into Laserfiche immediately. So now that we've onboarded this person, let's go back into our employee dashboard. Here's our HR dashboard. And David Smith should now be on our dashboard here as a new hire. So here he is. David Smith is here. Like I said, they start out with the 200 hours of PTO. That must be nice. We don't get that, but we do in this demo environment. So we have him now on our HR dashboard. Also in Laserfiche, a couple things happened with the file getting moved. So currently it's been in the job requisitions section here. If I refresh here, David Smith folder will get moved over into our current hires folder. There's a couple things happening here behind the scenes. Got to wait for this to refresh, but I can show you some of the other documents that got uploaded here. So our new hire files are here as well now. So it created a new hires files folder, and within that folder, it now added the onboarding forms that were submitted, right? You do have to wait for the DocuSign integration to send the signed copies back into Laserfiche, but they're gonna show up here eventually. I'm gonna let this sit. Oh, there it goes. We got a little green button here. So anytime you get a little green button here next to the refresh or a green dot, that you know that something's happened in your Laserfiche repository, and it did. So now we have the signed copies here in the Laserfiche folder, right? We have the W4 that's been signed. And also importantly, everything is getting auto-indexed by Laserfiche for us, which is nice. So there's that completed W form with the signature on it. You even have the DocuSign envelope ID. You can track that in the metadata. The DocuSign envelope ID, that's just a security certificate. You can look that up by that ID and know exactly who signed is who they, in fact, they say they are. So you have that security certificate there available. So that's our W4. If I go back here, we also have the non-compete that's signed. Also indexed for us, named correctly in the correct folders. That's the real beauty of this. So there's that with the signature there at the bottom somewhere. There it is. So we can close out of this. And then also the I-9 is here as well. And as I was talking, like I was saying originally, it went from our files in process, it actually is now in our employee files, right? So we have our employee files. These are our actual employees. And if I go to that folder, that David Smith's folders got moved over into our active employee files. So the workflow is able to move these folders around for you, create any additional new subfolders as needed based on any new documents that are imported into Laserfiche. So that's really nice. So this employee is now onboarded, so we can do a couple different things with them as needed for HR purposes. Although I did forget to mention about the IT tasks here. So let's go ahead and look at that here. So part of that onboarding process was not only for them to sign that documentation, there are also internal tasks that we need to follow. And I kind of skipped this here, but this, this could be completed generally prior to them being moved over into that final folder in Laserfiche or not, depending on your process. So this is just an example of a notification sent over to IT. These are IT tasks that they do need to complete as part of the final setup of that employee. So there's a little checklist. They have to set up their user access, their emails, maybe access to other systems, other computer or laptops that they may be provided with. So you have that little checklist here. In Laserfiche Forms, if you don't know this, you have an action history, which is great. You know exactly when this was initiated, by who, where it currently is in the process, and what that action is. So when you hit Setup Complete, this just then gets filed also into that Laserfiche folder for us. So now that employee is technically fully onboarded. Let's go back to that dashboard here. Actually, let me see if we have that folder here. Yes, we do. So here is that new hire checklist that also got added in here. That was for the IT, for those IT tasks we just completed. So that form also itself gets filed into Laserfiche, indexed correctly for us, which is nice. Now let's go back to that dashboard here. So David Smith is now on our dashboard. Great. So let's do some tasks, HR specific tasks in reference to David and as he's performing and within CDI. So we have a couple different forms here that we can do, for example, for time off requests. So David's been here a few days and he already wants to take some time off. Well, we have a nice little time off request form. They'll drop down for to select their name. We can also have this pre-populate their name because we obviously know if they log into Laserfiche Forms who they are. We'll drop down for a calendar. Maybe he wants to take the 20th through the 21st off. So that's going to deduct 16 hours from their PTO. So as I do this, you'll notice that on the dashboard, it's going to update their PTO after it's processed here. So this is a little confirmation here. Now there's going to be an email notification for that paid time off. This is most likely going to their manager. The manager would get notified with an email. All right, manager logs into Laserfiche Forms, can view the action history, see when it was submitted. That's all reportable. You can actually run reports on these metrics here as well. And they just have two options here, either approve, reject. We're gonna be nice and tell them have fun and go ahead and approve this. This will take just a second here to finalize. And behind the scenes, what this is doing, this is going to add a new folder into David's folder for his time off request. So in Laserfiche, it's going to create a time off requests folder, and it's going to add this request in there, which I'll show you next. I'll need this here. Also on our dashboard here, since he's already taking time off, if I refresh here, under David Smith, you'll notice that from 200 hours, he's now down to 184. So this is a really nice dashboard for tracking PTO if you wanted to do something like this internally. But in Laserfiche, let me show you that folder that got created for this time off request under his main HR folder. So if I go back to HR, employee files, he's in consulting, David Smith, you'll notice it created that time off request subfolder and added in that request in there. It's naming it correctly. If I drill down into it, this is the copy of the actual form that was submitted. You have that as a record in there. All the metadata is populated. Everybody's happy. If there are additional time off requests, they now get filed into that folder by Laserfiche. So that's a time off request. A couple other things that are of note here. We can do things like warnings, right? We may have a written or a verbal warning we can provide to an employee for job performance, perhaps. So this is the employee warnings form. Maybe he's back from vacation on Friday, and I'll select his manager here, like that myself, David Smith. This was a verbal warning. Let's just say it's specific to job performance. And I don't know, let's just say he was sleeping on the job. Right? If there was a picture of this violation, you could go ahead and upload that here. And then when you hit submit, this gets filed also in Laserfiche. It does create a new folder in the main David Smith folder. So let's go into Laserfiche here. Let's go back to employee files, consulting, David Smith. So we're calling it disciplinary files, but this is where it's going to then put all of the additional, write-ups essentially. We'll file them into this folder, and then you can have a quick history view and like, like, hey, this has happened 3 times now, so that's not looking so great. So you have that here. Let me see with notifications here. If we did get any additional notifications, we just got the one for the time off request. Okay, that's fine. We could also have, obviously, it send a copy of this write-up to David himself as well. So that's the employee warnings. We have other things we can do. Obviously, you can think of other processes you may want to automate in HR. We can do things like reviews, which opens up a Laserfiche review form. Other HR business processes you may want to automate. You can have those leveraged through Laserfiche forms. I did want to show the employee terminations because this one actually then also applies records retention properties into Laserfiche, right? You want to keep that record maybe just a specific amount of time and then destroy it. So we'll show you that specific process where it applies the retention after this employee is terminated. So let's go ahead and terminate David. He's been sleeping on the job a little too much. So Monday, we're going to terminate him. Make sure we select David Smith. Hit submit. And this is now going to start off the offboarding process. So there are various actions or tasks that need to be performed to offboard this employee specific to the departments that are involved. So HR is going to have tasks to complete. IT is going to have tasks to complete. The consulting department is going to also have to have tasks complete specific on his job duties. So if we go over into forms here, this is the termination form that's been submitted. So this is the one that's going to go for the review, first initial review. Let's go ahead and open that up in Laserfiche. Right, so this is going to HR. His manager has submitted this termination request. HR says, okay, approved. And this is when it kicks off those additional tasks. So the first group of tasks are specific to HR. So there's a variety of things HR needs to do and kind of check it off as that's being completed. Everything looks good for HR, so they'll say completed here. So that's the HR tasks. All of this is obviously also getting filed in Laserfiche into that folder. If I go to my email out client, I have other tasks to complete. So we did the HR tasks. We also have to do the IT tasks. And these can happen in sequence, or it waits till a group of tasks is done before it proceeds to the next one. That logic can be built into the form and the workflow if needed. So let's do the IT tasks here. And you'll notice our action history is getting updated every time somebody interacts with this form or process. So IT has done all of these things. Everything looks good. Completed. So their tasks are done. Let's go back into our Outlook. These are the departmental tasks. So these are the consulting department tasks that need to happen for offboarding. Here we go. All done. So now that it's completed, what happens in Laserfiche, not only are all of these forms filed in there, David's folder gets moved over into the inactive files, right? So the essentially terminated employee section in Laserfiche. Also, retention gets applied to this record because we don't want to keep it maybe past a specific amount of time, but we may be required to keep it 5, 6, 7 years or whatever that retention is that you need to abide by. So if we go back into our Laserfiche client, now if we go to HR, under past employees, we need to maybe perhaps wait for the workflow here to move it on over. Or did I have a task I skipped here? Oh yeah, I did. So just kidding, there's actually a final review of tasks in this process. So we have to complete that as well. So before it gets moved into that former employees folder. We have a final review all of these tasks. So we have those HR tasks that have been completed, the departmental tasks, IT tasks. Everything's great. We'll do the final complete sign off on this, and this is when it files it into the folder for non-employees. We'll wait for this to refresh. So that looks good. We'll go back into our folder here, close some of these windows, too many things open. So now if I go to past employees, you'll notice our little green button has appeared here again. So something happened in Laserfiche. So we'll hit refresh, and there it is. David Smith is now a past employee. That termination form is stored in Laserfiche. So you have that in Laserfiche. And with the records component as well, so what it's doing, it's actually applying retention, and I believe it applies it on the whole folder here. So if we go to the folder, oops, let me go back one. We go back into past employees, select David. Under records here, there we go. So it's applying records retention properties for us automatically, and it's tracking the life cycle. So the termination event date was 11/25/24, hypothetically speaking here. We don't have a time machine, but there it is. So it's eligible for cutoff that same date. Cutoff means it's making that record read-only. It puts it into a read-only state. It can no longer be modified. And then it's keeping it in retention for 7 years based on that retention schedule. And then our disposition action is the destruction action. So at 7 years, the system's going to notify us of any records that have reached retention, which this would be part of that report. And then you can go ahead and delete that record after those 7 years. So that's a quick overview of a number of HR forms and processes that you can potentially, just get some ideas of what you can potentially leverage internally. I think these use cases are pretty interesting, specifically for clients that may not already have an HR system or a solution, and they may have Laserfiche. So why not look at Laserfiche to automate some of these processes? It's pretty straightforward to build out, and it can save a lot of time. You don't have to manually create folders, manually move documents around. Obviously, the DocuSign component is really nice. The dashboard feature is also nice. So a lot of use out of these specific forms pertinent to HR, but again, Laserfiche can be used to automate many other forms in other departments as well. So that concludes our little HR section. The next piece I wanted to show is using Laserfiche to provide you with a newsletter or a digest type solution. So for that, I want to show what that final output can potentially look like. So what we're doing with Laserfiche, and this is something we're doing internally here, so I can't really show you the behind the scenes, but I can show you the final output of what happens here. So on a weekly basis, internally, we have an email sent, and this is sent by Laserfiche workflow on a timer. So this is sent Monday morning. And what happens here, this email is providing our internal staff with information pertinent to obviously the product that we're providing is Laserfiche, but we're more interested in any Laserfiche news. So these are news being populated from the main Laserfiche corporate website. They have a support or answers page where we're actually digesting that and importing that information into a Laserfiche form. This is something a task somebody is doing on a weekly basis. They essentially populate the Laserfiche form with this Laserfiche pertinent news, and then that workflow sends it on a timer and distributes it to the rest of the company. So this is the email that we receive. You get a nice little subject line, link to that article. You get like a little preview of what that article is about. And you can click the link here and get more information, read the article. This links over into the Laserfiche answers page. So this is really nice. Once a week, we don't have to go searching for Laserfiche news. We have it all in an email here. There's also an archive. Since all of this information is being stored in Laserfiche, we do have also a nice little archive you can access. So if you didn't want to search your emails from maybe 4 years ago for Laserfiche news, you get this nice little archive dashboard. You can select the year that you may be looking for a specific news, 2021, specific date here. And on that date, you can see exactly what the Laserfiche news were, right? So you can get a nice little list of that. This is all through Laserfiche forums. There's a link again here, and you can access that. So this is a super nice little archive for, this could be for internal procedures or policies that you want to have distributed on a weekly basis or not, maybe a monthly basis, and have a nice little archive of that as well available through Laserfiche. So in our case, we're doing Laserfiche news, but we're also doing product updates. Since we are a software developer, we make a lot of our own integrations and other software components. We also are interested in information about our products and as they are updated here. So, you know, if you are interested in doing that internally as well, maybe you have some kind of a development lifecycle for a product, you want to track it internally, you can do that in Laserfiche and then have it displayed to other staff through this type of an email through a Laserfiche forum here. So this is some pertinent information to some of our internal products. And also it has an archive here. This archive is a little different. This actually goes through Power BI. So this is Microsoft Power BI. You can actually integrate Laserfiche with Power BI pretty easily. So on this little Power BI dashboard, it's more graphical. It's maybe a little bit easier to read and understand. So you can integrate Laserfiche with Power BI as well. So here are our product release bulletins. You can sort it by release date. You know, when I select this product here, I'll get information pertinent to this product. Select a different product here, you get pertinent information to that product. So this is all stored in Laserfiche. It's displayable through Power BI, or in the news bulletin, as we saw, that's displayable through Laserfiche forms. Depends kind of what you prefer, but again, this is kind of a niche use case of Laserfiche. I think it's great. You can automate an email to send your team members that weekly email of pertinent information to their job or whatever product you're working on or whatever else you want to distribute. So one use case we thought was interesting, we wanted to share it with you all. So there's that. And then the final component is our NDA request process. This is also a Laserfiche form that's integrated with DocuSign for e-signatures. So we found that we have to submit NDA forms to more and more clients. So we have our own NDA form. And why send it, manually? Let's go ahead and populate that through a Laserfiche form. So we're doing that. We just have a link. This is actually our internal SharePoint site. So this is another system that can be integrated with Laserfiche. In this case, it's integrated in the sense that we're just displaying Laserfiche links here into Laserfiche forms. But this is another idea that you may have if you're already using SharePoint internally. You can have that contain links into various Laserfiche forms and processes. So this one is for NDAs. And again, this is a live process here, so I am not able to show you kind of behind the scenes here, but I can at least show you what that forms looks like. So basically, we can select our date here, who it's initiated by. So this can be somebody on our sales team, on our professional services team. When I select the user, this is kind of cool. It's doing a lookup. Obviously knows who I am in Laserfiche. I select a different internal staff member. It fills in their information there as well. Then who's the NDA here with? Maybe, I don't know, with Nike. I don't think so, but let's go ahead and go with that. Just fill out some random information here. That's the president. I'll just send this to myself. Digital.com. Address field here, just pre-populate that from a safe field here. So when I hit submit here, this again, this is a live form. This actually gets routed to the president of our company because he needs to sign the NDAs, but it also then gets routed for the to the company we're working with that actually needs to sign this as well. So 2 parties here need to sign, both our president and the company we're working with. So when I hit submit, it's actually going to send a copy of this to our president and then another copy to that contact that we're working with here. And this is also integrated with DocuSign for e-signatures. So our president can just quickly, you know, a lot of times he's not in office. He can just get that notification on his phone, click sign, and get that process completed immediately. And then also our recipient or the person we're working with, they get a nice little DocuSign request as well. You can go ahead and complete that through the link here. This is kind of maybe a little bit redundant. I showed some of this functionality before, but same idea. You sign it through DocuSign. Both parties need to sign. And then once it's all signed by both parties, then it gets populated into Laserfiche. But the nice thing, what it's doing here, it's saving a little bit of time because it's populating the NDA with the relevant information specific to the company that we're working with. So like you'll notice it's using the information from the form to pre-populate the NDA. So it's putting in the address, the name, and any additional information. This is a live form, so I'm not going to proceed with the DocuSign signatures on this one. But once it's signed by both parties, then it goes and gets filed into Laserfiche. It will go into our client's main folder. It will create a subfolder for the NDA and file it in there for them. Then it also notifies our internal staff when that NDA has been received back from the customer, so we know we're able to proceed with the project as needed. So this is an example, again, just kind of a unique feature or a unique use case of Laserfiche, using it for NDAs. Could really be any other form that you're working with on a daily basis, maybe something you're doing frequently. You want to look to automate it with Laserfiche. Why not leverage Laserfiche? Why not look at the DocuSign integration as well? If you already have DocuSign licensing, or you are interested in getting some DocuSign licensing and making those processes more efficient. So that concludes the demos today. I do have a couple more slides here to go through to finish up. Let's go ahead and do that now. So any questions? Let's see if we have any questions in the question box here. So Emily asked, how are the dashboards being created? Those dashboards I was showing are through Laserfiche forms, essentially. It's just a Laserfiche form that's displayed, and you can set up what the way the form looks based on the way you want to display the data. And I can't, unfortunately, that's a live lock demo system. I can't show the way it's set up live to you, Emily, but if that's something you want to explore further, do reach out to me one-on-one, and I can show you a different example of that. But yeah, again, it's based on Laserfiche forms, that dashboard. All right, no other questions here. So let's just go through a couple CDI resources. Our client portal, that's a link to that there. That's something our customers can leverage. There is a lot of other information in our client portal specific to Laserfiche forms and automations and integrations, other solutions. You can also sign up for free Laserfiche training if you're a customer of ours through our client portal. So every other Tuesday, we're doing free training. This is pretty unique to CDI. Our clients love it. You can get free training every other Tuesday. Our YouTube library is obviously a fantastic resource. I'm sure most of our clients know about that by now. You can access that through YouTube. CDI blog, we have a blog on our website. Also, the newsletter is published on our website as well. You can sign up for that and get an email of that newsletter as well. All the links are on screen. And Laserfiche resources. This is resources specific to Laserfiche, the corporation, software developer. So they have a nice solution exchange page. You can get some Laserfiche training. Those are paid classes that you can get Laserfiche certified. We can sponsor you. If you're a client, we can sponsor you for some training sessions or certifications. So let us know if you're a customer of ours. They have some getting started guides, answers page, and then the solutions marketplace as well. Excuse me. There's my contact information. If you have any follow-up questions, you want to discuss your specific use cases of Laserfiche forms or workflow, or look at our DocuSign integration, happy to do that. So feel free to reach out. And thank you all so much for joining. We'll see you in the next one.